Gift is for our new business school building, which is spectacular, as well as for faculty research and student scholarships. Joe has held many civic and educational leadership positions. He is the current chair of the 4A's Foundation that helps rally the advertising industry around improving the level of diversity in advertising and media agencies. He has served on many boards, including the Peace Center in Greenville, Special Olympics, the Governor's Commission on Teacher Quality, and the Partnership for a Drug-Free America, and the Greenville Chamber. He was on the staff of Boys State for 23 years. He served as the host for 2 nationally televised presidential primary debates, one at the Peace Center in Greenville and the other at South Carolina State University in Orangeburg. He was inducted into the Greenville County Schools Hall of Fame that honors graduates from Greenville County Schools who have gone on to make significant contributions in the areas of academics and education, the arts, athletics, public service, business, and philanthropy. After leaving Erwin Penland, Joe established Erwin Creates, a company that continues the legacy of cultivating, growing, and influencing a creative community in the great state of South Carolina. He is the president of Endeavor, a co-working community for independent companies and freelance creative self-services field, as well as corporate marketing teams. This next one's pretty cool if you love sports. He's the principal owner of the Greenville Triumph soccer team, a professional team in the United Soccer League, which is playing in their very first season this year. All right, we'll give him that. That's good. You want to talk about somebody who is innovative and creative, this is the guy. In fact, he received our first ever Spirit of Innovation Award, which is given to an alum who exemplifies the spirit of creativity and innovation in their career fields. I actually met Joe for the first time. I'm finishing my 6th year as president, and I met him just 2 weeks after I started my job, and I remember reading all about him going, man, this guy's got to be awesome. I can't wait to meet him. And when I met him, what I realized, he's even more amazing than all the things that I just said to you. Both Joe and his wife, Gretchen, are really special people. I'm thankful for his friendship, and I'm thankful for all that they do for Clemson. I've learned a lot from him. He's a good friend and a mentor. Would you please help me welcome Mr. Joe Erwin?
All right, I want to tell you guys something. I'm a little nervous. I haven't done this before. I've never been invited to do this before, and I've already learned that this is the final time that they're going to have me on this stage, because as I was up here a little while ago, these ladies know, one of the deans, John, told me a hysterical story, and nobody was out here. Nobody was paying attention, so I thought. I had a bottle of water. It was open, and I go walking out, and I spill water all over 3 chairs up here. So you guys might want to check your backs before you get up to talk. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing, and these ladies down here are laughing their tails off, which I didn't appreciate. And so I know that this is my final time being asked to come here. So the other thing, Jim mentioned that I was the head cheerleader, the mic man, when I was here. And I have a dare that I wouldn't lead a cheer. Now, I know we had some cheers going, but I've got to do just one short one, and so you just have to follow. When I say Clemson, you say Tigers. Clemson? Tigers. Clemson? Tigers. All right, when I say Clemson, you yell Tigers. Clemson? Tigers. Clemson! Tigers. Now, see, that is the way you're supposed to sound as a Tiger. Welcome to Clemson, everybody. Before I get started on tradition, a quick note about Jim Clements and Beth and the First Family, and this is important. I actually met Beth before I met the president. And when I met Beth, they had just arrived from West Virginia, and I said, Beth, you've been on campus now a couple of weeks. Tell me what you think about Clemson now that you're here. What is special about this place? And she said, really a couple of things. She said, first off, the students are amazing. They are gifted academically, and this is really significant, but they are not entitled. They come, they work, and you can tell they want to earn what they receive from this university. That's number one. She said, number two, Joe, I've just been here, yes, a couple of weeks, but the other thing that I'm taken by is the utter sense of family, that this place is one big family. I meet Jim just a couple of weeks later. I ask him the same question, totally different environment. Beth isn't there. I said, tell me what you think of Clemson so far. And he said two things, and he practically repeated what Beth had said. And I said, and what do you want to achieve as president? And he said, I want to carry on the great legacies and tradition, which speaks to why I'm so proud and so thankful, Jim, for the opportunity to be here. And he said, I want to do my part in making this place even more special. So that tells you a little something about your first family and their children, the same way, the same kind of values. So you may have thought when you came down here as freshmen, new freshmen, that you left family. Not really. You still have that family, of course, and you will. But now you are part of a much bigger family. And we appreciate you, Jim, and Beth, and the entire First Family for what you do. Thanks so much. Being asked to talk about Clemson and tradition is a humbling thought, to be sure. And I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about my own Clemson story. Jim mentioned I finished in 1979. And to be honest with you, it was destined for me that I would come to Clemson University. Growing up in Greenville most of my life, I was around Clemson all the time. My mother grew up just down the road in central South Carolina, and she married a Clemson guy, a guy who would go on and serve in the military, and Clemson was a military school back when he was here. All 5 Erwin brothers of his family attended Clemson University and graduated. So this was where I was going to go until it wasn't. Because about that time, there was a girl. And I found out that girl was going to Clemson University. Well, I wanted to be different, and so I had enrolled at a school down the road about 90 or 100 miles, University of Southern California. No, the University of South Carolina. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. I had picked out my classes. I had my roommate. I was headed to USC. You've never heard this. In 2 weeks. 2 weeks. All right, this was a different time. So now back to the girl. She's on her way to Clemson in 2 weeks. And I decide I'm following the girl because she's not a girl. She is my future wife. I thought. And so, it gets better. So Clemson was a different place then, and I was able to get in. Couldn't get a dorm room. Couldn't get in the major I wanted, but I got in. Couldn't get in this joint now. But I got in, and 2 weeks later, that love of my life dumped me like a lead balloon, and that was that. She would not become the future Mrs. Joe Erwin, or Susan Erwin in that case. So anyway, so I'm done. And I thought briefly about leaving Clemson and going to South Carolina as I had planned to originally. But I didn't, because I could feel something in those first 2 weeks, you all, on campus about, oh my gosh, there is something special here. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know where it would take me, I was crushed. I mean, I can make jokes about it now, but it was a really hard time. And I thought, I just don't know what to do. And you just do. You move forward. And in so many ways, this place carried me. It will carry you. It is that special. You just have to do and invest the way the president challenged you just a few minutes ago. And for me, it was getting involved in some things, cheerleading, which I didn't expect. I'd hoped to play soccer, wasn't good enough. And debate, which was not a plan. And this will be part of your destiny. You will do things that you can't expect that you will be doing. They will show you opportunities. You just have to take them. During my junior year, for example, I volunteered in a statewide political race, a campaign for a gentleman running for Secretary of State who was trying to become the first African American to serve in that role in over 100 years. It was joyous work, got me fired up about politics and what politics could do to make change. So as part of that, I started taking political science classes, and there was one called Political Science 443, Public Opinion and Propaganda. And in that class, our job was to make TV ads for kind of make-believe candidates. So I wrote the ads, I shot the film, I edited the TV commercial, and man, I was hooked. I knew that my future was in marketing and advertising, something I never could have imagined before I came to Clemson University. So what I want you all to know is that you have these opportunities, and my experience too was about, and Jim mentioned this, about the other people in this room. You are going to make friends who will be your friends for life, as so many of my friends are now, and my business partners and the people I trust the most in life are people that I met right here in Clemson. I'm proud to say that my son, Doug Erwin, our firstborn child, and his wife, Lauren, are Clemson Tigers, both graduates of Clemson. And I'm proud to say that my wife, who was the real girl, ultimately, even though she is a Georgia Bulldog, and that's not much better than a USC Gamecock, she is all in, and I'm kidding, I love Georgia. I better say that or I'm in deep doo-doo. Gretchen Erwin is all in for Clemson, except for on those rare occasions when we have to play the Bulldogs, and then we go to separate spaces because it can get a little ugly. I want you to remember, the president emphasized your academic journey, and that is really important. But it is not the only important thing, and Jim mentioned this too. It is the totality that is important. In fact, the academic journey, while being incredibly significant and special, it is just the tip of the iceberg in what you will experience at Clemson. Your Clemson experience will be all about the experiences that you create. It's about the memories you'll create. And as Jim said, it's about life. Now, I want to do something, and I want you to look up, and you'll see the brand is everywhere. And I'm a branding guy. The tiger paw, you see it above, you see it on the ribbon boards. I want somebody to tell me, just shout it out, please. What does that brand stand for? Nothing, apparently. No. Come on, somebody. Tigers. Excellence. Sense of spirit? Yes, absolutely. It stands for all of these things. That brand is so big, and it is now a part of you, and you will help define what that brand stands for in years to come. So being in this room today is the start of a huge opportunity And no doubt you're excited, eager, and maybe a little anxious. But please remember, it is also a responsibility, because that tiger paw means what it does because of people who came before you, people who were committed to bringing it to life. We made it mean something that is unmatched among colleges and universities today. However, what that brand stands for in 10 years, that's up to you and those of us who are still lucky enough to be engaged with the power of the paw. So it's up to you, my friends. You will have to choose. And know this as you begin to get steeped in the Clemson family. One of the things I love the most, and Jim alluded to it, is this university doesn't care what your race is, your gender, who you love, and where you came from. We only ask that when you're here, you love one another. That is part of Clemson tradition. Finally, 3 things I want you to remember as I finish. Build those relationships we talked about and have experiences that will challenge you and change you. They'll last a lifetime. 2, do honor that brand and the people around you who are all working to make it bigger, bolder, and more heartfelt. 3, and we're talking some of the same things, remember the joy. It's going to get tough at times, I promise you that. But you may forget the last time you slept. And when that happens, don't forget to have fun, share a smile, and remember how blessed and lucky you are to be part of this incredible Clemson family. And when you think of Tiger tradition, just know that people are going to look at you and think, what did you do to help build the traditions of Clemson University? And I want to thank you for the journey you're about to go on, and I want you to remember the words of Maya Angelou, who said, people will forget what you said. People may forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So make everyone else feel special, and that, my friends, will make you feel special. Go Tigers!